Let's take it back to the very beginning. How did you get into marketing and become a content marketer?
First of all, this is a very funny thing. And if I think about it, I've never really said this to anybody outside my mom.
We're getting the exclusive.
Yes.
This is Marketing Over Wine, a podcast where we talk to the marketers behind the companies, strategies, and campaigns you see in the world today. You get to share the strategies and tools they use, how they manage their earnings and price their services, and the mistakes and successes they have made in their career. So whether you're just starting out in marketing and need to learn the ropes, or you're an experienced marketer seeking fresh perspectives, or a business owner looking for insights to boost your brand, you're in the right place. Each episode is an unfiltered masterclass, so come join us. I am your host, Olawumi Olaniyi. Hello and welcome to the Marketing Over Wine podcast. On today's episode, I have Margaret Etudo. Margaret is a medical writer, creator, LinkedIn manager, and founder of the Writing Hackers Academy, where she coaches aspiring and existing writers on becoming in-demand talent. Over the years, Margaret has worked with prominent brands like Medical News Today, Forbes, WebMD, Healthline Media, and FitBit, amongst others. Thank you for joining me, Margaret.
You're welcome. And thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
I don't think there's, anything to add after you have finished glorifying my existence. So continue.
It's really amazing to have you here. When I stumbled on your page, I told myself I knew I needed to interview you for this episode. So thank you for joining in.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me once again.
All right, let's take it right back to the very beginning. How did you get into marketing and become a content marketer? What's the story and what's the blueprint for it?
First of all, this is a very funny thing. And if I think about it, I've never really said this to anybody outside my mom.
We're getting the exclusive.
Yes. I started this whole thing, this freelance writing thing, in 2019. And I would say 2019 December, I started talking about it with my mom and one other person, close to me at that time. I was saying that I wanted to start helping people to do their maths assignment.
Oh.
Don't scream. I know it's like, how did we get to this point? But that's what it was.
No, it's fine. We're very open-minded.
I wanted to start helping people to do their math homework. I know that time chegg.com.
Yeah.
They help people to do assignments. So I thought, can I work under them and help them to, do, because I was very good and I still am good in maths. It was my favorite subject at that time. And it wasn't really forthcoming. I wasn't really seeing what I wanted, but I knew that I wanted to do something online and it had to do with helping people to do something. And so it was between doing maths and doing articles, essays, writing essays for people, that kind of thing. Just had something to do with helping college students, because I knew that, and this is not to shade anyone, but I knew that, okay, the regular college student abroad is typically lazy when it comes to doing assignments. And I felt like, okay, I can do this for you in exchange for some money. And I started to put my eye into that field. And then early 2020, it was like the handwriting on the wall kind of thing. I was like, God was supporting me. He still is. And I was like, okay, I want to go into freelance writing. So that was the period of, COVID was looming.
Yeah.
And I saw this flyer from my friend's friend. So my friend's friend, I don't know my friend's friend, but I know my friend. And I had her number on WhatsApp. So I saw the flyer that she posted for her own friend on her status. And I was like, oh, okay, the person was teaching freelance writing. It was going to be a 3-day class. At that time, I just I just got into pharmacy school. So I was still trying to figure out how to manage my labs and read my book, because from the foundation I was coming from, I'm this kind of person that reads like every other day that I am being taught.
Yeah.
So I was trying to manage how I would write a lab manual for 4 hours that is expected of me to submit the next day and still read. I didn't really have time to learn anything, but I knew I wanted to do this. So I hopped on it. I paid. And at that time, I didn't even have that money. It was 2,000 naira. Yes, but I didn't have it. That was how broke I was. I borrowed that from my mom, and I can tell you that it has been a wonderful journey. That was how I got into, that time I didn't have time to even do the class with them, but I went back shortly after that period. COVID happened, everyone was sent home, and I had enough time to go back, listen, learn. And I think 1 or 2 months after, I got my first client, and then the rest is history. But yeah, that's how I started this whole thing called, content writing is a subset of content marketing, which is like a little player in the world of online marketing, digital marketing.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it, and I started becoming better. I started building my personal brand. Last 2 years, 2021 December, I registered my company.
That's great news.
It's been wonderful since then. I've been pushing it, and now I'm focusing on medical communications for health brands to help them to, reach their patients, their audience, and professionals with marketing. And that's what we're doing at MedMD.
Well done. That's a really amazing story. That's a really amazing background story.
Yeah. That's my story.
And from what you said, I was able to see the power of connections. That's one part there. Because if you were not connected to this friend who posted the other friend's flyer, you would have most likely not gotten into marketing through that route.
Yes.
So power of connection.
Exactly.
All right. You mentioned the content marketing is a subset or is a huge part of content writing. So if you were to explain content marketing to, say, a 5-year-old or in a layman term, how would you explain content marketing?
Okay, so I would just say that content marketing is using content in its various forms to talk about your business.
Okay.
Let's say you have a product. Maybe you sell let's say a car phone holder. So you sell these car phone holders that Uber drivers use for holding their phone up in their car.
Yeah.
So that's what your company is all about, those kind of accessories, car accessories. Now, a content marketer's job is to use means of like videos, blogs, infographics, whatnot, email, social media to help you reach an audience.
Yeah.
Reach the people who you are trying to sell it to. They're using content to tell your own story, okay? And content is what we're doing right now is content. It's podcast. It's a form of content. Video is content. Email is content. Social. That's why I feel like when you go on Google, I feel like Google hasn't done justice to what content marketing is. And the reason why I say so is because when you go to Google and tell them the different branches of marketing, digital marketing, they will tell you content marketing, email marketing, mobile marketing, video marketing, SEO, PPC.
Yeah.
But the thing is, content marketing on itself is a huge factor. When you talk about blogs, when you talk about, promoting a business through the blogs, content marketing, when you say blogs, there's SEO. There. When you talk about content marketing, you say video marketing is different from content marketing. Yes, I understand that if I want to go into video marketing, I may do some things that I will not necessarily bother about in content marketing. But content marketing talks about videos, it talks about emails, it talks about podcasts, it talks about social media, it talks about even mobile marketing. As long as you are trying to tell a brand story, whichever means you use is content marketing. And that's just exactly what I would say it is.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned that shortly after you attended the freelance writing course, you got your first job.
Yeah.
So how has the progression been since then? And if you can share, what was the salary like at the very beginning? Now, the reason why I'm asking this question is because the purpose of this podcast basically is to draw up a form of blueprint for people to follow, someone who is just getting into marketing. So if you ask anyone that how much exactly is a content marketer supposed to earn with no job experience, everyone has different ideas. Yeah. So to know your own perspective now, what was your first job like and what was the pay like for that job?
Okay, so my first job, and I'm going to be very transparent because I believe that some people have this idea that once you are doing something online that has to slightly or is directly in tech, you have a lot of money. See, my first client, the first one I had, I found it on LinkedIn and it was even by mistake. That's how I see it. The people, they were Indians and they were paying me 1,000 naira for one article that was 1,000 words. Let's just say 1 naira per word. But for me, who started with a bank account that only had 100 naira inside, 1,000 naira per article as at 2020, a broke college student, was very big for me.
True.
I'm not even going to exaggerate. Now, that is not what it has been all through the years. God has been faithful. But I'm just going to tell you that my students, many of them have succeeded and superseded my own beginning, and that's my own joy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't have a yardstick, one yardstick for everyone or one size fits all. I'll just say that this is how my own path went. Now, if you want to actually make something in this writing and marketing, the most important thing that people are looking for that will determine or even give you mouth to say, oh, this is what I want to earn, is a portfolio.
True.
So if you do not have that, it's be hard for you to tell someone that they should even pay you to begin with. And if at all you have a portfolio, how solid is your portfolio? What are your bylines? Okay? These are the things that you want to understand. Now, I have some people on social media that I'm connected to either by following or we are close friends. These people took like a year plus to get their article featured for free on a website that they know that can help them. I had to continuously pitch Forbes when I got into their writing circle. I had to pitch them for a year.
Wow.
Before they hired me. 1 year, that's 12 months. That's 365 days.
Wow.
So how many people are willing to do that? These are the things that, you know, when you want to start making money from writing, the first thing that should be in your head is portfolio.
Yeah.
And I know I teach my students, okay, when you write, you should, push it out there, put it on Medium, LinkedIn, wherever, whatever. But I also advise you try and get your name on another person's blog.
Yeah.
Try and get yourself there, because it's going to help you a long way. By the time clients start asking, oh, can you show us 3 clips that are relevant to our brand?
Yeah.
You will be confident to share.
That's true.
So that's my own advice. That's how I got, that's exactly where I started from. That's the progression. That's what I feel like if you want to start writing, you should focus on that.
Thank you for explaining that. Thank you. Most people don't exactly see the work in progress. People are just more concerned with the finished product. To see that, yes, you've worked with these brands, but they don't exactly know where you're coming from or what the process has been like. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That leads me to, how did you get to work with WebMD, this renowned brand? You've talked about Forbes now having to pitch them for over a year, but how did you even get into their circle, the writer's circle? What is the process of marketing leads for you? How do you get clients to write for?
Okay, so for WebMD, it was actually a referral, and I thank God for Bob.
Shout out to Bob.
So I sent him a message. I wasn't looking to work with WebMD. I was actually looking to work with Medscape, which is like a brother site to WebMD. But what they were posting on Medscape at that time, I didn't have my portfolio didn't match with their brand. So he just sent me a contact in WebMD that would actually, take my work, that they appreciated what I was writing. And yeah.
Power of connection again.
Yes, like sincerely. And then for Healthline, I was reached out to. So this thing where I talk about LinkedIn, optimizing your profile and all of that is really important. Yeah. And that was how I got the job for Healthline. Then for FitBit is a quite complicated story. So I saw one of my connections on LinkedIn. I feel like this whole story about me is just connection.
It's very beautiful to see.
Yeah, sincerely, one of my connections on LinkedIn, I went through her experience section and found out that she's working with Pfizer, and she writes for Pfizer.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, you write for Pfizer, you're also a freelance health writer. How did you get it and all of that? And she told me that, she actually is in touch with an agency that connects her with these big brands. And I'm like, which agency? And she told me. And then I was like, okay. She gave me a contact. I started talking to them, and fast forward, they gave me the job.
Wow.
It took like a while before they connected me with FitBit, which was then their client. And I was able to write an article for FitBit through them.
Nice.
So yeah. That is how I got FitBit. I do not have anybody's contact in FitBit, but through that agency, I was able to get featured on FitBit.
Are you able to share the agency?
Industry Dive.
Industry Dive. Shout out to Industry Dive too.
Yes.
All right. You get hired by a brand, and then the brand is a startup, or let's say an established brand who is just relaunching a new feature, and they're asking you to help with the launch? What advice would you give them to get the word out there based on your experience with content marketing?
Well, the advice I'll give them is plenty. They should get ready to get a paper and a book.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing is that if you are trying to come out, you have to first of all ask yourself, what is my USP? What is my unique selling point?
Yeah.
What is it that I know that, okay, other brands, they don't have? Is it that your own product is cheaper? Are you more affordable? What is it? As little as you think it is, it really matters, because when we start talking about messaging, we start trying to promote and amplify your brand voice, everyone wants to hear what is different. Okay? Now, if I wanted to sell something, let's say LG was bringing out a new washing machine model into the market, how do you knock off Thermocool? How do you knock off all these people that have been here for long?
Yeah.
Okay, LG does this. What does it do? It helps to reduce the amount of light you use to power the washing machine. Okay, it doesn't need so much water for you to use and wash your clothes. It's quick. It's fast. These are the things that I want to hear.
Yeah.
So it helps me to know, okay, these are the things we're going to focus on. We're not talking about washing machine. We're talking about the economy in this Nigeria and how people want to save on bills.
Yeah.
And so LG can help you to stay stress-free, yet get your clothes washed. So these are the things I'll tell that brand. What is your unique selling point? And then when you're done, what are the channels you want to use to promote? Are you using social media? If yes, would we be contacting influencers? Are we looking at influencer marketing? It's very important. Or are we looking at UGC? UGC is cheaper, but it's as effective as influencer marketing. So which one are we looking at? Are we looking at using your own social media channels? Is it strong enough? Are we going to get people that will help us with PPC, pay-per-click ads, Google ads, and all of that?
Yeah.
That's what we are going to ask ourselves. And so when we're done, the target audience will influence the platforms and channels we use to promote that brand. So that's exactly what I'll be looking at if I am trying to tell a new brand or a startup or a brand that wants to launch a new product exactly what to do. What are you looking at?
Yeah.
And then when you find out the plan, we can now decide to bring the experts that are needed at each point to ensure that this project runs smoothly and there's no hitch.
Yeah.
Like from the graphic designers to the project managers, everyone has to be on board. Everyone has to be carried along. We should have like a small team that will carry out this thing, like, heads and heads. Like maybe you're going to hire like 3 graphic designers, but only a graphic designer or creative team lead will be in the meeting of people who are trying to arrange what is going to happen. Because see, the thing about marketing is once you have your blueprint set out and that campaign starts running, you don't want anything that will cut it short, because we're trying to test here. We're trying to record what we are doing. Is it working?
Yeah.
I was running an ad for my recent launch of my cohort last month, and along the way I decided to stop the ad running to Nigerians and try Nigerians abroad. What happened? It flopped because we needed a bigger budget to run that. But the fact is that I was able to get that message. I got that, I noted that down, and it has helped me should I want to run ads again for foreigners next time. So that's the thing. You need to understand that we are going to be taking notes, so you don't want anything that will cut that campaign short.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the things that I would tell a brand should they want to be launching a new product.
Amazing. Now, this is a very tricky question, but if you had the opportunity to choose only one marketing channel for that startup, if you were allowed to only choose one marketing channel, which one would you go for and why?
As much as you say it's tricky, it's really not. It's quite defined. And I'm going to use my own brand as an example. So the Writing Hackers Academy is my brand where I teach freelance writing, content marketing, and how to, make money online, passive income kind of stuff. So if I were to go back in time and want to choose a marketing channel for that beautiful brand, I will start with Instagram. Why? Because of all the channels I have for it, Instagram is really taking this, like it's hitting the ground running. I mean, it's doing so well. I know when I started that account last year, May, and as at now, we have 2,000 plus followers compared to my other accounts that I have started long before that. So it's really growing. May not be as fast as some of these people out there, but considering the effort I'm putting, it's going well. So it's about where your audience is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people that need me are not on Twitter, but it depends on the platform. If, for instance, the platform is supportive of new accounts, that would affect your own decision considering where you want to start. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so for MedPenPal, I talk about how I can help brands with their content marketing, particularly in content management of blogs and all the rest. And I also talk about how I can help health brands to grow on LinkedIn, be it personal accounts to grow or company page management, whichever one, I can help you on LinkedIn. Now, I have my MedPenPal is active on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And for Twitter and LinkedIn, I talk more about the content marketing aspect, where I talk about my writing skills, showcase, and tell you how you can grow your own blog and all of that to attract editors who are looking for people that can manage their, blogs. But then I focus more on the LinkedIn aspect on Instagram and TikTok. Why do I separate this thing? It's not like I don't talk about LinkedIn on Twitter and LinkedIn, or I don't talk about writing on Instagram and TikTok. But it's just because I have done my own research and found out that most of the people who are interested in all these things that we talk about content marketing are on LinkedIn and Twitter compared to TikTok and Instagram. So I decided to just move more of that. It's not like I separated them, or there's no kind of content that connects the two. But at the same time, I am looking at my audience. Where are they?
Yeah.
So for a marketing channel that, it's a startup, you look at where your audience are, which channel will favor you. Then you have to start with one. So if you know that most of the people you're trying to look out for, the people you're trying to attract, the people that you want them to pay you are on Twitter, then go all head into Twitter. Take out 12 months, focus on Twitter, see what happens. When it starts growing, when it starts kicking off, you can decide to go to LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot.
Amazing. Now, I know that you preach the LinkedIn gospel on your social media platform, on Twitter especially. Most of your videos are constantly talking about LinkedIn is amazing, LinkedIn is good for your brand, LinkedIn is this. Why LinkedIn for marketers? Why LinkedIn for business owners? What can it do for them?
Okay, so the reason why I choose LinkedIn is because that's where the people that are going to pay me are. Like, I was reached out to on, like, I literally told you my story.
Yeah.
For Forbes, the person I was reaching out to found her on LinkedIn, WebMD, LinkedIn, Healthline, LinkedIn, FitBit, LinkedIn. So why not LinkedIn? I mean, that's where you, as a social media, as a service provider rather, most of the people that have the money to pay you what you deserve are on LinkedIn. So the best thing you can do is to focus on building your brand there, and people would naturally reach out to you. Opportunities will find you. So that's the reason why I say LinkedIn.
Okay.
And as a marketer, LinkedIn is somewhere where business owners, and that's where most of these people are. They are VPs, they are VP assistants, they're on LinkedIn. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that opportunity and grow your brand on LinkedIn? Then you can also choose any other social media platform to get more people, more eyes on your business.
True. Now, I don't know if you have seen this conversation, or rather argument on Twitter, of sales and marketing. If you are in sales and marketing after 3 years, you should have started. Yes, you should have started earning $100K per month, $100K per month,
$10,000 per month.
Yeah, $10,000 per month in the first 12 months as a start. For you, what is the most you have earned on a gig or a role or a project? What is the most you have earned for that?
Well, the thing is, I have mostly been in the content writing space, and I'm currently trying to build my career in content marketing and go over and beyond.
Yeah.
But as a content writer, you can earn as little as I told you 1,000 naira. Yeah, but then that was Nigerian based. For international clients, they can pay $100 per article, $150 per article, and they can also pay $1,000 per article. Like, it's not like impossible. It's something that they do.
Yeah.
There are some of my clients that I charge per rate. So you can charge clients per rate 50 cents per word. Yeah, 50 cents per word.
Yeah.
You can charge some of them $1 per word. So if you write 1,000 words, that's $1,000 straight.
Now, I'm trying to get the sweet gist there. Is what I said you should personalize it. And for you personally, what is the most you are earned on an article? Can you share that?
I cannot really remember because there are a lot of numbers coming into my head.
Money.
But in terms of rates, I have charged as high as 50 cents per word.
Amazing. Really beautiful. All right. What automation tools do you use as part of your workflow?
I use Notion. It's beautiful. And just yesterday, I was replying someone that asked, you people that always say Notion, what do you see in Notion, So the thing about Notion is that I use it for everything that has to do with managing my business. My community, the Freelance Writers Haven NG, I use it to outline the activities I have for the month for them. For my brand, the Writing Hackers Academy, I use it to outline my content calendar, the ideas and all. For my brand at MedPenPal, I do the same, outline the ideas. For the Nigerians Content Marketers Hangout, which is like a Twitter space held monthly by I, Latif, and David, my two other content marketing friends. We organize our ideas on Notion. And then there are so many other things that I organize on Notion. My emails, my email list, articles, some things like you can literally do everything that has to do with running your business on Notion and connect it to Slack, where you will have conversations with people that you are working with.
You seem like a very organized person.
I'm a very organized person. I don't joke with it. I'm very organized, and I don't like it when people disorganize. Like, if I'm disorganized in anything, when it comes to my business, I don't joke with that at all. So yeah, that's one of my. Then the other automation tool will be my virtual assistant, which is not like a tool, but it's a tool, if you get what I mean. So yeah, that would be it. I don't think there's any other thing I use. I mean, I know there's Hype Fury to automate your tweets.
Yeah.
There is Later to automate your Instagram stories and feeds and all of that. Then there are some apps like LinkedIn, Pinterest that have they can schedule your posts ahead of time. But because I do not really like scheduling posts, except that I'm trying that with Pinterest for now, but for my other accounts, I don't really like scheduling posts. I like posting it real time. That's why I use my VA rather than, investing in apps. I feel like it gives a human touch.
Yeah. On marketing Twitter, maybe every 3 to 4 market days or every 3 to 4 days in the week, there's this conversation around there are some redundant roles in marketing. People sometimes say growth marketing should be part of content marketing and should not be a separate role by itself. Other people say content marketing or sales is supposed to be a part of digital marketing. Are there roles that you think are redundant presently in marketing?
I do not think any role is redundant, because the thing is, I'm constantly learning every single day about this whole thing called marketing. And, there's a kind of marketing called account-based marketing, ABM. And ABM is like targeting B2B. Now, if someone comes out and starts telling me that ABM is supposed to be under, B2B, or no, it doesn't make sense to me, because these things are there for a reason, okay? Something like growth marketing now is technical. Don't allow anyone to kid you. It's actually technical. You have to start analyzing things. You have to start analyzing metrics and all of that. So I do not really think or agree that, these things are redundant. I believe that content marketing is a part of digital marketing, but in as much as it's a part, it also has its own function for a brand. Now, you see, despite the fact that sending out emails is a form of content marketing, but email marketing on its own, there are so many rules, there's so many laws that you should observe depending on where you are bringing your business to. So you can't say that email marketing is a part of content marketing. It has its own field, it has its own section. You can say that you have a content marketing agency and part of your services is to write emails and help your brands to publish and market themselves, but you cannot underestimate or undervalue an email marketing agency that only focuses on emails. They are valid in their service as much as you are valid in adding emails to your own service. That's just it.
Sure. How do you repurpose your existing content to reach newer audience?
Well, what I do is, when people say repurpose, they think that it's just to collect something you posted 6 months ago and post it again. That's reposting. That's not repurposing.
Okay.
So now if you want to repurpose content, if I want to repurpose content that I posted like 3 months ago, I'll go back, look at it, and look at another angle that I'll use to make another one. Maybe I listed some options for something. Maybe I said 3 ways that you can start or you can thrive as a finance writer in Nigeria. And I listed the 3 ways. I will go back and pick one of those ways and say, this is one of the ways that I feel my student has been able to use and thrive as a finance writer in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I've repurposed that old content. I didn't have to think of a new idea, and I was able to get something fresh.
Sure.
Yeah, that's one of the ways.
I think other ways, if you write a long form content, you can break them into bits and expatiate on those bits.
Yeah.
More or less, like if you write a blog post, you can make them into a video for LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok.
Exactly.
You can even interview someone to talk about that topic for a podcast. You can break it down and send it as newsletters, something like that.
Yes, exactly. I agree with you.
Quick question. If you were to pick a brand to work with presently, based on the amazing and prominent brands you've worked with already, which would it be?
I don't have any brand at the top of my mind, but if you are talking in terms of qualities based on my own experience, I'll look for a brand that would try to help me to become better, because I believe that there is always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in a situation whereby I'm not free enough to, ask certain questions and also give my own opinions, make my own decisions, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for should I want to work with a brand. This time it won't be a chicken race to the end where I'm like, any brand that comes is fine. Right now, I'm in the stage of selecting who I work with. And that's what I also encourage my students to do right from the onset, that you shouldn't just make yourself available for every single job out there. You should always look out for yourself. As much as you're trying to help somebody, you also need to be helped. And that's exactly what, I would consider if I am looking to work with a brand at this point.
That's an amazing perspective. Thank you for that. Winding down, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of marketing advice, what would it be?
My younger self, what will we tell you? There's so many things, but then one thing I would say is never give up. As cliche as that sounds, I know how many times I've wanted to just pack up my, everybody should just go and sleep. But then I know how many times that I have not done that, and the result, and it has been amazing.
Yeah.
God is so amazing. He has made my 30 years to be 3 years. That's how I see it. And so I would tell my younger self to cling and hold on to God, because it will be much easier when you do that. You don't have to worry. And then, don't give up. It's not an option. Yeah. Okay? My friend always says, last, we could do all right. Yeah. And if we know day all right, we never reach the end. That's what he always say, and that's just what I believe. In the end, we'll be all right. And if we're not all right, it's not. So that's it. That's what I'll say.
All right. Where can we go to learn more about Margaret? On what platforms?
You can talk to me on Instagram at MedPenPal, and you can talk to me on LinkedIn at Margaret Etudo.
Okay.
And Twitter, my name is the same for my Instagram. I don't even need to, glorify it more. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok is MedPenPal. On LinkedIn, it's my name, Margaret Etudo. That's it. Then if you want to learn freelance writing, you want to learn or get tips on how to make money online, visit at the Writing Hackers Academy on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and LinkedIn. Yeah, that's where we are. And we're waiting. So
join in. If you're listening to this, check out the platforms, sign up for the Writing Hackers Academy, and become a better writer. This has been a very exciting episode. Yes. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thank you so much for having me.
It has also been a masterclass. So thank you for all the knowledge and lessons you've been able to share.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Marketing Over Wine. To listen to more career stories of marketing professionals around the world, subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any podcast app of your choice. Or simply visit marketingoverwine.com to stay up to date.